Hey Glamour, I'm Gina Rodriguez, and today I will be breaking down some of my iconic looks from both TV and film. Ooh, Jane the Virgin, 2014 to 2019. Some of the greatest years of my life. For one, Jane 100% changed the trajectory of my life, and it gave me an opportunity to create the kind of art that I was always praying to do, which was art that was gonna portray a Latino family in a positive light. And for me, it was very much so playing this woman that was after honesty and truth and wanting to be the best version of herself and failing and trying again. She was an A-type personality and funnily judgmental and, squirmish about sexuality and all these different things that made her unique and interesting and, to me, a profoundly clear story that needed to be told. Ooh, the classic Marbella costume. I guess Marbella went through two costume phases. So you have the first one that was like with the halter, and I was pregnant in that one, and that one came with a baby bump. And that one was awesome because the rouging allowed for like space as my belly grew. And then when we did a rebranding and Petra took over the Marbella, then it moved on to these other costumes. One thing that Rachel was really good at was giving Jane A-line dresses. That was a big part of the character. She was always in some kind of A-line dress. It was kind of like our fallback of it. The dress with the blue top where there's a rose in my hand, that was some of the first scenes that I did with split screen. And that was when Jane started really branching out and doing magical realism, and that was a lot of fun. I do remember trying on that dress and it fitting like a glove. It was beautiful and I loved it so much. And then the day that we shot, it no longer fit like a glove and was very difficult to get into because I like to fluctuate in my weight. And Spanx was the homie and got me out of trouble. And then we have in the bottom corner one of my favorite fantasy scenes from Jane the Virgin, and it was when I was giving Raphael some nice friendly whippings. That costume was really fun to find, and definitely the first time that I was in a costume that was a little bit more revealing, a little bit more vulnerable, if you will. A little bit more uncomfortable, but that ponytail, rocked for days. Because it also didn't come off very easy, so there's that. But no, that was a very, very fun and lots of leather and lots of whippings. Someone Great, 2019, probably one of my favorite movies I've ever made in my life. That Latina shirt that I'm wearing with Rosario Dawson and the plaid, and I actually received that shirt from a young Latina designer, and then when I was shooting, I was like, I wanna wear this shirt. If I have to wear one shirt, this is the one I'm wearing. And they were like, okay, we're in, jam. Actually, a way for me to bring the entire community along with just like the simplicity of one shirt. And then looking at pretty much like the only other outfit I wear in the movie, which was like the big going out night with DeWanda Wise and Brittany Snow. And that one was hard to find. We actually reshot that scene because my character was supposed to be like, ooh, you better get it. And then we didn't really find the outfit that made me feel like, ooh, you gotta get it. And so we all kind of worked together to bring that outfit together, which was very, very cool. I think that was a really insanely expensive dress that we shortened because I'm really short and I still have those boots. I kept the boots. So the Selena scene was also another one where we were discussing what song we would be singing in the bodega, and Selena is and always will be really important in my heart. I love Selena, and so for me I was like, I think it would be really dope if we do this song. Jennifer had already suggested different kinds of songs along those lines, so it was a very easy sell. The two ladies knew the song also by heart, and so it was a lot of fun to do. Miss Bala, 2019. The director, Catherine Hardwick, costume designer, Graciela Mason, and my incredible co-star, Ismael Cordova Cruz. Such an incredible actor to work with. We were able to tell this fun, adventurous action thriller in a safe, kind, loving environment. I'm a big fan of Gina and Jean, so there was no pulling my leg on that one. I was very excited about that. It also was the outfit I was supposed to wear for the majority of the film, so you had to come up with like this classic, very simple, repeatable outfit. And then getting into my bra I did a lot of crazy training for this film. I was going from Jane, in between 2 Jane seasons, and Jane was a different weight that this character was, and in a different situation and scenario than this character was. So it was important that during a short amount of time, I worked really hard to change my body type for this film. That red dress that I absolutely love, that I thought fit so beautiful and perfect, was like hand sewn from like a piece of fabric. And it has an illusion of being very regal and expensive, but it was pretty easily made, and it was pretty remarkable how that came across. I think the costume designer did an incredible job, and we had little means. It was difficult to get options once we started shooting. So that red dress was a difficult one to get to, and when we got to it, we felt very, very proud that we got there. And then it just kind of disintegrated. It was just like a piece of fabric that just disintegrated into the wind. So I don't actually really know what's happening to that red dress anymore. Diary of Future President, 2020 to 2021. Diary of Future President is like my baby. It's my first executive produced TV show. It was a story about a Cuban-American family in Miami where the young girl grows up to be the president of the United States. The costume was definitely like, we wanted to make both Tess and Diary of Future President relatable, but also like aspirational. And so there was bold suits, similar to the suits that I'm wearing. Oddly enough, the sequence suits made me feel more powerful, like I was a disco ball. Bold suits, bold colors, sequence, lots of fun. It's for a younger demographic, so we wanted to continue to make it colorful and full, and it was a lot of fun making those 2 seasons on Diary. I Want You Back, 2022. I Want You Back is about 2 people who are going through a breakup, who just get broken up by their exes, and they find each other in this very sad, precarious space and decide to hatch a plan to help each other get their exes back. Will they, won't they? Does it work out? Problems? Maybe. Check it out February 11th on Amazon Prime. Samantha Hawkins, so phenomenal, phenomenal human being, phenomenal fashionista. She was just unbelievable. My character is like, to get across her rigidness, Samantha really personified that in the clothing. It really helped that my character was like super pent up, very like, you know, tightened, wound up, and is existing only in this idea that she wants to be more free and more artistic, but really she's very set in her ways. And I loved everything she put me in. That last dress for the river walk, it's like blue underneath and it's like mesh overlay. I was so obsessed with that dress, so obsessed with that dress. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna maybe buy this dress. After wearing it for 4 days, I think I wore the dress out. That's what's interesting. The first day you're like, I'm gonna steal this dress. And then you're like, I never wanna see this dress again. But it was beautiful and wonderful, and we definitely had one, and I sweat. So day 4 was fun. That blue dress that she put me in, really, really comfortable in the little like low flats, loafers. The outfit in the school with the button up and the frillies. Like, I do think costume contributes immensely to falling into a character. I usually find motivation elsewhere when it comes to my character, and it was like I needed to wear the clothes to fall into my character. And so Samantha really did something special. It just felt like she knew these characters so profoundly and lived their lives before we even started shooting, that you slipped in and there was no going back. Thanks, Glamour, for taking me back in time and allowing me to revisit these looks that truly bring up the best memories of my artistic journey. So thanks for that. Can't wait to be back.